I think Kiss started as the band we never saw. As someone who went to rock concerts, I felt cheated. I saw bands that felt that they were doing me a favor by being there, but I paid for a ticket. I saw bands that looked like they just rolled out of bed, but I paid for a ticket. It pretty much was like analogous to going into a market and giving money and coming out with an empty sack. We wanted to be the band we never saw. And what I've really found in life is that if I don't second guess the public, and if I just address my needs, I address the needs of lots of people, whether it's Kiss, whether it's art, whether it's Puma shoes. When I say what would make me happy, invariably it makes other people happy. So Kiss was a touchstone for a lot of people. It was a wake-up call to audiences of what they should never accept less than.
Your relationship with Gene Simmons, who is not your brother, but he's frequently cast as a near brother. The two of you have been close for well over half a century.
Yeah, yeah.
So when and how did that happen? Tell me the story.
I was playing with a guitar player in Washington Heights, which is interestingly the neighborhood that I first grew up in. 211th Street and Broadway was where I was originally from. I found a guitar player who I was playing with, and one day I went over to his house, his apartment, and there was another guy there, and he said, "This is Gene, he writes songs, and this is Stan." At that time, I was Stanley. I still am, only now it's my last name. But I said, "Yeah, I write songs," and Gene said, "Oh, play me one." And I sat down and played him a song, which incidentally wound up on our first album, and he played me one song, which didn't. So I famously didn't take to him immediately, and when Steve, this other guitar player, said, "Why don't we have a band together?" I said, "Well, you can play with him, or you can play with me, but you're not going to play with us." Well, here we are 50 some odd years later, and I'm very fortunate to have been on that path with him.
So what's the key, what's the core of that friendship and collaboration?
Trust. I think that a great partnership is based on understanding its limitations. If you don't expect something from someone that they aren't equipped to give you, you won't be disappointed. And perhaps the times where I've been disappointed in Gene were times where I really should have said, that's not on his list. You know, that's not something that he excels at. So does he do things that I question? Does he say things that I don't want to align myself with? Does he behave in certain ways? Yeah, but that's not here or there. The core of what we have is a work ethic and a bond that's built on time. That's the amazing thing. There is no substitute in a relationship for time. You know that yourself. When you meet someone, there may be potential, but nothing comes of it without experience and seeing how each one of you respond to crises, to victories, to defeats, and that's what Gene and I have been through together. So the rest, we have totally different lives. Gene's a great guy. He says a lot of controversial things. I take things that he says with a grain of salt, and I think others should too. I have 4 amazing children who, there are times they must think I'm crazy, but I'll walk over to one of them and go, "I can't believe you're my child." So I'm blessed to have incredible children. I have a wife that for 16 years now has been there. As I was saying with relationships, you get to strengthen and build a foundation based upon the crises and the good times, and she's never let me down. I think the only surprise with Erin is that there are no surprises. She is rock solid.
Second marriage.
Yes.
What did you learn from your first marriage that went bad?
That everything happens for a reason. I never would have had Evan, my 24-year-old, had I not been with his mom. I think that the lesson that I learned that was most profound is that the only person I can change is me. You have no control over anyone else, and as much as you may want them to do something, it's totally up to them. I tell people now, if you want a peach, don't buy an apple, because it's never going to be a peach. So what you see is what you get. And if that's not what you want, you shouldn't take it. I remember somebody paraphrasing, "I love you, now change." We deserve exactly what we want and need. Perhaps there are times where I wanted things that really were not best for me. There is a difference between what you want and what you need. And as I got older, I think I've come more to terms with what I need. And sometimes you have to get things. I sound like Yoda, I'm sorry. But sometimes you have to attain things that you were chasing to realize that they're not what you need, whether it's fame or a marriage. Then you have to be strong enough to say, now what? What do I do now? If a divorce was to sour you on marriage, then the divorce won. A marriage that goes bad doesn't negate all that is wonderful about a marriage. It just means that you chose wrong or you made a mistake.
You mentioned that you shouldn't want some things, but you do want some things. Brings me to a touchy area. In the world of rock and roll, you've never been into alcohol, never been into hard drugs. But, how does one say this gently? You had an eye for a well-turned ankle.
Yes, yes.
Now, was that a weakness?
If it is, it was glorious. I don't know that that's a weakness. I think it's something that many people would want, but aren't given the opportunity to have. Certainly in my case, I can say no one got hurt. Nobody was misled. And the times certainly were very different than they are now. I'm really glad that I got to experience that, because there are, I think, a lot of people who walk around wondering about opportunities they missed, or maybe I should have been with this person or done this or that. I have no woulda, shouldas. No woulda, shoulda, could, maybe I should have done this. I've lived a life where I can say I really haven't given up anything that I didn't elect to do. So as far as relationships, yeah, they certainly were there, and I had a great time, and that got me here too. I don't think we can ever negate that we could never be where we are without everything that we did before.